So, I am back with a new video. Mm, This time again, we are looking at a kind of backwater deck because I admit that I am not good at building with certain colors. This is Intet the Dreamer. He's Temur colored. He's a dragon. This is actually centered in green. This is my only green centered deck. And as such, it should be a ramp deck. I really stink at ramp, I must admit. I just have 5 ramp spells. A real ramp player would like 10,000 mana, if you were to ask Remy. If you play with this, and I'm not good at playing with ramp, then I suppose you should have some kind of payoff. Else, why would you do it? Thus, I assume you would play heavy things. Therefore, I have added some rather expensive big monsters. They're just general big monsters. They do something when they come in, or something. Yes, this one can possibly cycle. My controls, yeah, it can cycle. uh, Tromokrati, I think I saw this once or twice when I was playing standard back in 2014. So, but like I wanted to give it, even though it is a kind of leftovers deck, I wanted to have some personality, so I'm trying to add some tribal to it. Why not have some dragons? This is a rather small one, but it's still a cute dragon. I think he's a happy dragon. Your ordinary, quick, attacky, stabby. Not that strange, it's just a big dragon. Um, Red dragon, actually think they got the flavor rather right on this. It just comes in and spews damage. The only thing that really lacks from this dragon, in my opinion, is haste. Yeah. I love Dracuset. I think even though this is a deck that I don't work with that much, just look at the art. Sometimes I actually sit and look at his art because I think it's one of the best dragons art-wise. The flames, oh my god, the flames! And the function of it is just awesome. And I love that the set M20 had several lost words in their flavor text. Spread out, you idiot, spread out. Then I suppose they all died. And another dragon, just because it's not a very impressive dragon, but I suppose he can counter me for saying that. So, but there is an even bigger tribal theme, and that is the elementals. Because, as I think I mentioned, this used to be a different kind of style deck. It used to have a much bigger focus on elementals. This is a big one. Um, big one. Big one. So I tried to still keep to the idea of payoff. Big one. Not that big one, but a small one. And yeah, I think it's a cool one. Big one again with landfall. I mean, obviously you can't really do ramp without landfall, I suppose, but I tried. um, I added some. Um, just an ordinary fire elemental, because why not? I think that these embodiments can actually do some good work sometimes. I think they're cool. Embodiment of spring, I actually like it a lot, and it's semi-ramp. It's not actual ramp, but it's a bit. Molimo, I mean, you need to have some Marrow Sorcerer. Uh, Granitic Titan, again with the cycling. My control damaged brain always wants to cycle, but you can also have a big elemental. Why not? Magma Pummeler, not actually a big elemental as such, but it's an elemental. Miner's Bane, another big elemental, because why not? Grove Rumbler with landfall, yay! I mean, okay, my white-blue tendencies are shining through. My brain just says, okay, this is a creature. It might just as well explode to Wrath of God. So why even play it in the first place? But yeah, he doesn't listen. He just goes away. Cyclonic Sire comes back and tells me that, hey, I can actually die and still make sense. Because I come back or something. Pyre Spawn also tells me that, yeah, I die and I still get to hurt you. That's cool, I guess. Bogardan Rager can help with flash, can buff something with a kind of flashy thing. And to make it even better, a buff on elementals with Creeping Trailblazer. I think that works. And another buff on elementals with Incandescent Soulstoke. I think he has a cool art. Yes. Cool effect too. So like there is a kind of payoff for the ramp. I also have some supporting payoff. This one helps with ramping and rewards you for ramping. Not that much impressive else. Kiora to help me ramp and reward if I play something big. Temur Ascendancy. I like creatures to do something immediately if I have creatures. So haste is helpful. And I also get rewarded if I play something big. And Tatiova, who it's a semi-landfall effect. It's just lacking the landfall thing. So like I have some things left to show. I tried when I started to build this deck years ago. Actually, I tried to have a combo, and that combo was with Risen Reef. I think some of you might know it. Though if there is some elemental getting in, or Risen Reef itself, it tries to get a land in. Aha, okay. But what if you would eventually also put in Zendikar's Royal that does basically the opposite thing? If a land enters, then you also create an elemental, which would inadvertently trigger a new effect on Risen Reef, which would eventually trigger a new effect on Zendikar's Royal. I've never gotten to see this effect in play. I'm very sad to admit, but I mean, you can dream. Maybe also the fact that I never played the deck. So yeah, screw me. Season of Growth is here also to try to help with it, because when a creature enters, I get to scry. So that could actually help me set up the next step. So like eventually, theoretically, you could actually have a small madness of triggers going around here, just triggering on the triggering on the triggering on a lot of fun. Yes. Um, I have a few other supporting things. For example, since I have a mini dragon theme using Sarkhan the Masterless, felt logical. I used to have more planeswalkers in this deck. Now I have like 3 or 4. It used to have like 10. So this made more sense then. Then I have 2 other dragons, which I have always liked, and I have a certain special art. Destructor Dragon looks rather much like Foe Racer Regent, doesn't it? It feels almost as if they have reused the same kind of commission for an art style, and they just ended up putting Destructor Dragon's art on Destructor Dragon. Have you seen the real art for Foe Racer Regent? It doesn't look at all like a dragon. It looks like a Triceratops. It looks like a dinosaur. So I much much rather like this art of him. So, and the final art that I'm going to show for this deck, even though it's a backwater deck, it still has some cool art, is Sylvan Bounty. It does a lot of life, or possibly some land cycling, which this deck likes, but it's really the art that I'm going for. I've tried to shunt this deck into other decks, shunt this card into other decks. I've never managed, but I have it here. I think this is a very soulful art. It's I think it's from the get-go. I think it started in Zamalara, because I think this is a banned knight that has gotten lost, maybe ended up on Naya instead. I feel that this is really beautiful, and you could just smell that it was Chris Rahn. He does really good art, specifically of Angels. Sigarda, I think he does. Always like Chris Ran. So that was the semi ramp deck. Um, I'm sorry if I triggered a lot of actual ramp players by showing a suboptimal ramp deck, but like that's also a bit of what this channel is supposed to be about. Like it doesn't always have to be about min-maxing because that's really bad for the soul. So you should pause the soul.